OK, here we go. Hello, welcome along. The fixtures for the new Premier League season are out. So let's get straight to it, shall we? And let's have a look at the opening day's games. There we go. And straight away, let's have a little look here. Your eyes go straight to Liverpool. What a start for them in their first Premier League title defence. They take on Championship winners Leeds at Anfield. That's going to be on September the 12th. 16 years since Leeds were last in the top division. What else have we got? Let's have a little look out for Manchester City. They start against Aston Villa. Manchester United take on Burnley. But there's a but. Both of those matches will be rescheduled because of their involvement in the Champions League and Europa League. Let's look elsewhere. And how about Fulham? Their first game back in the Premier League. Well, that's at home to Arsenal. West Brom also at home. They are up against Leicester. Tottenham face Everton. You can see that one over there. West Ham face Newcastle. While on Monday, September the 14th, double header for you because Wolves and Chelsea get their seasons underway against Sheffield United and Brighton respectively. That's on the Monday. So a home game to start for Liverpool, but it's a fixture that will get everyone's attention. The winner of England's top two divisions going head-to-head. Liverpool haven't lost to Leeds in any competition since 2001. That's a run of 8 games, but they've only faced each other once in the last decade. Another big standout day in any season, isn't it, is the Christmas fixtures. Always a crucial time at the top and the bottom of the table. Plenty to look forward to, so let's bring you Boxing Day, shall we? And let's start right at the top there. Look at that one. At the Emirates, a repeat of the FA Cup final. Arsenal taking on Chelsea. There's also a repeat of last season's final day clash at the King Power Stadium down there with Leicester up against Manchester United. Elsewhere, Anfield, Liverpool take on West Brom. Will we see a repeat of those memorable Jurgen Klopp celebrations when the sides met at his first season at the club? The other Boxing Day games, well, what have we got? We've got Aston Villa against Crystal Palace. We've got Fulham against Southampton. Leeds taking on Burnley. Manchester City, Newcastle. We've also got Sheffield United against Everton. West Ham facing Brighton. And Wolves taking on Tottenham. And what will be on the line when we get to the final day of the season? Those fixtures are into us as well. Liverpool and Manchester City, as you can see over there, both end the campaign at home against Crystal Palace and Everton, respectively. What will those games have on the line as far as the title race is concerned? Arsenal take on Brighton. Aston Villa, they stayed up on the final day of last season, didn't it? This time around, they will face Chelsea on the final day. Fulham will take on Newcastle. Same team, actually, they played in their last Premier League game. It's an all-promoted tie with Leeds playing West Brom at Elland Road. Leicester, they face Tottenham, while Sheffield United take on Burnley. It's West Ham against Southampton and Wolves up against Manchester United. Those then, the key dates this season. But let's take a look at some more clubs in detail. Liverpool defending their title for the first time since 1990, and they have a tough set of fixtures to go through. As we know, it's Leeds on the first game of this season. That's followed by back to Chelsea. They go away to Chelsea and at home to Arsenal after another away day at Aston Villa, the first game after the October international break. Well, look at that one there. October the 17th, Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. And then rounding off their opening 6 games, they are home to Sheffield United. So can Manchester City get an early advantage then in the title race? Well, they'll have to wait a little longer to get their season underway.
Yeah, and that's because Manchester City against Aston Villa on the opening weekend of the season is postponed. That is due to City's European involvement. So we can cross live now to our chief reporter, Brian Swanson. Brian, good morning. A much shorter summer break. Which teams will be most affected by this?
For the Premier League, this is all about getting the balance right, giving the clubs and the players some break, but trying to do what they can to ensure that the impact of the coronavirus pandemic doesn't hit too hard on next season. The fact that Manchester City and Manchester United's return to Premier League action has been delayed by a week is no big surprise. That was because of their involvement in the Champions League and Europa League this month. The clubs agreed that there would be a minimum 30-day break. For that reason, Chelsea and Wolves will kick off their Premier League games a couple of days later on September the 14th. Arsenal will probably feel that they have had the shortest break this summer because of the FA Cup final win against Chelsea at the start of this month. They've then got the Community Shield against Liverpool next weekend. So they have had the shortest break. I think the feeling within the club is that it's not ideal, but there's not a lot they could have done about it. Everyone is having to deal with this global pandemic and the impact in different ways. So that for the players and for the team, they've just got to get on with it before their tough opening game in that opening round of fixtures from September the 12th. In terms of what happens now, well, those Manchester City and Manchester United matchday 1 games will be rearranged. They have been postponed until a later date. But for now, the clubs know what they are heading towards as football returns quickly.
And Brian, we know, as you mentioned, the pandemic, that we're going to be starting this campaign without fans. But when can we expect to see supporters back in stadiums?
The Premier League says that it is committed to getting fans back into full stadiums as soon as possible, but safety must remain their priority. This is still one for the government. They have the final say on when stadiums can reopen again. The feeling this morning is that those talks are continuing. There is no fixed date for fans to return to grounds because at the moment it is still too fluid. It's too uncertain. Government officials told me earlier that they want to wait to see how some pilot events go. They want to see the impact of when can that judgment call be made. Remember, they are working towards some sort of a phased return for fans from October the 1st, but there is still a long wait as far as the clubs are concerned. They still don't know when they can welcome fans back. Everyone wants it to happen, but crucially it has to be safe, and that decision has not yet been made.
OK, Brian, thanks ever so much for now. And we can cross live now to the Etihad and speak to Ben Ransom. Hi, Ben. Tough start for City. This is going to be a big campaign for Pep Guardiola, isn't it?
Oh, it's hugely important. There's no doubt about that. For the first time in, 3 years, they're going into the season not being champions. So it's going to be a slightly strange one. But let's not forget, they are going to be absolutely determined to start strongly and put the pressure on their rivals at the top. Not just Liverpool, of course. Manchester United we're expecting to be stronger. Chelsea, Arsenal maybe under Mikel Arteta as well. Tottenham under Mourinho. So I think there's a lot of rivals that City are looking at. You're right, it's an interesting start given the fact that that Aston Villa fixture has been postponed in the first weekend. I mean, I don't know what that does for those of us that play fantasy football, because you won't be able to pick any Manchester City players for that first week, which is going to be an absolute head scratcher. For Pep Guardiola and his squad, crucially though, it means they've got 1 extra week just to get themselves ready. That little bit of extra rest after the Champions League could be crucial. And then it is a difficult run of fixtures, isn't it? I've got the first 5 here. Wolves away is essentially their first game of the season in match day 2. Then they've got Leicester City at home, who, as we saw last year under Brendan Rodgers, had a Leeds United. What a shame that that's almost certainly going to be without supporters, because that would have been a really good atmosphere at Ellen Road. And then the first big game of, I suppose, amongst the title contenders concerning Manchester City, Arsenal, the team that beat them at Wembley in the FA Cup semi-final, come here to the Etihad Stadium on the 17th of October. And then I know what it's like being a supporter. You look for those big matchups. When are you playing your rivals? Well, the first meeting with the champions Liverpool here at the Etihad on the 7th of November, that's going to be a huge match, hugely significant potentially early on in the season. The first Manchester derby is in December, the 12th of December, in the run-up to Christmas, so that's also going to be a huge match for both clubs. Maybe, just maybe, we might have some supporters inside Old Trafford for that one. That would be spectacular, wouldn't it? Then, of course, we look ahead to that second match against Liverpool in February, a second Manchester derby here at the Etihad in March. 4 games out from the end of the season. One that jumped out to me, City hosting Chelsea. That could be massive if you think about the significance of a potential title race. And they finish at home on the 23rd of May against Everton. So a massive season for Pep Guardiola. He can now start to plan. Let's not forget, he's entering the final year of his contract. It is slightly different for him. He's never been in one single role at a single club for this long. He was at Barcelona for 5 years, but let's not forget he was at Barcelona B for 1 year, 4 years in charge of the main side. This will be his 5th year in charge of Manchester City, and there will be a steely determination to wrestle that title back from Liverpool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, City finished 18 points behind Liverpool, knocked out again of the Champions League at the quarter-final stage. Is Guardiola going to be given resources to rebuild this side?
Well, look, there's no doubting that City are working frantically behind the scenes to make sure that Pep Guardiola has got a squad that they feel can overhaul Liverpool. It wasn't that long ago that a very similar squad was breaking Premier League records in terms of number of points and number of goals scored in a season and taking all before them, winning domestic trebles and the like. It's not all bad. They were best of the rest, as it were. They were in the title race for a long time. Obviously, they got through into the Champions League quarter-finals, furthest of any English side, and they won the League Cup as well again for the 3rd year in a row. So not all bad, but from the people I've spoken to inside the club over the last few weeks, yes, they've been slightly cagey about what they're expecting to do transfer-wise, because let's not forget their season only finished a few days ago, essentially. But I have been told that reports they're going to spend that big £300 million transfer kitty this summer are somewhat wide of the mark. That's not the plan at this stage. They've already done some good business, you have to say. Nathan Ake, Ferran Torres coming in, Leroy Sané going out. So they've spent a bit of cash. They've given Pep Guardiola, if nothing else, a sign that they are looking to add to this squad. But really important for City, if they do want to win this title back, is a centre-half. They've still not replaced Vincent Kompany. You cannot legislate for Aymeric Laporte being out for most of last season, of course, but they're short on numbers. There's no doubt that that's the priority position, especially if Eric Garcia does, as we all expect, go back to Barcelona. There's also some doubt over the futures of Nicolas Otamendi and John Stones. Will they still be here at the start of the season? So they need another centre-back. Kalidou Koulibaly looks like the man that they think is going to fill that void. He would be a huge asset if they could get him in. So centre-half, and then maybe a striker, although that is one I'm told that only if the right player comes up and only at the right place. There's no absolute urgency this year. They are looking at a forward player, don't get me wrong, but Sergio Aguero, he's had that knee surgery, he's had a bit of a rest. He'll be fit and firing ready for the start of the season as he enters the final year of his contract. And of course, Gabriel Jesus has led the line pretty well in the last few weeks since Project Restart. Yeah,
absolutely. Ben, great to speak to you. Thanks very much.
So those Premier League fixtures are out. We're still digesting them. Let's pick up on what Ben was saying there, because when we get the fixtures, we look at the key games and what they could decide as far as the title is concerned. And Manchester City and Liverpool have been the top two in the Premier League for the last 2 Premier League seasons. Those 2 matches could prove pivotal, couldn't they, in deciding the title? Now, as Ben was saying, the sides meet at the Etihad November the 7th. That reverse fixture at Anfield, February the 6th. Remember, City won 4-0 the last time they met post-lockdown.
OK, from the battle for the title to the 3 clubs making their return to the Premier League, it has been 16 years of waiting for Leeds United. So let's take a look at what they're facing then in the opening weeks of the campaign. After an opening day trip to champions Liverpool, they face fellow promoted side Fulham in their first home game back in the Premier League. That's before a Yorkshire derby against Sheffield United. It's back-to-back home games after that. Tough matches, though, against Manchester City and Wolves before a trip to Villa Park on October the 24th. As for West Brom, well, they are back after 2 years away, and they've got 2 of last year's top 5, Leicester and Chelsea, in their opening 3 games. In between those matches is a trip to Everton before they take on Southampton, Burnley and Brighton. What about Fulham then? Their promotion only confirmed 16 days ago. Well, they can start looking forward to their return again. They are at home on the opening day against Arsenal, though. That's followed by Leeds, Aston Villa, Wolves, Sheffield United and Crystal Palace. We are going to take you through some more fixtures next, don't you worry. But you can find all the games for all 20 Premier League clubs on our website at skysports.com or the Sky Sports app. Coming up next, we'll speak live to a former Manchester United defender on their hopes for next season. And the fixture list has thrown up a difficult start for Mikel Arteta in his first full season in charge at Arsenal.